Hey minions, welcome to Crank It Up. I'm Jim Price, and for the month of January, we're letting the fans pick the video topics of It's Your Fault, so blame them if the quality is terrible. This video was requested by Hope Is Alive 1, and I'll be talking about the ninjas, one of the original core set factions. And by original, I mean one of the original four, along with pirates, zombies, and robots. When the game was prototyped, there were only four, and ninjas were one of them. Let me start by saying that, as a theme, I love ninjas. Being a ninja is one of my top 3 dream careers. They take thieving to a whole new level, and ninja was my most frequent Halloween costume. As far as the Smash Up faction goes, I'm honestly ambivalent in my feelings. There are aspects I really like, and aspects I find extremely underwhelming. I have friends who love them and play them all the time, and ninjas definitely have their strengths. I think they are in an unusual position in that they are extremely strong in 2-player, but are actually more powerful in 4-player than 3. You'll see why I feel that way later in the video. It's worth noting that the ninjas did not get a Titan, but I often felt like they needed one. At a high level, the ninjas have moderate destruction and several stall tactics. They lack traditional extra plays and power increases, but they have the most special abilities in the core set. They lack what I call automatic actions that have no downside that you'll want to play automatically, and often these are actions you use particularly early. They have no card draw and the usual 30 printed power. Now let's get a detailed look at their cards in a vacuum and see how they stack up. Whenever possible, I'll be considering the ninjas independent of any pairing. Let's start with the Ninja Master, the King Minion. The Ninja Master can destroy any minion on his base, which is powerful. This is great because it can take out any minion vulnerable to destruction, and there are some very powerful minions that are camped out as engine cards. The drawback is that the Ninja Master has to be played on that base, but the ninjas have ways to mitigate that. Another drawback is that the destruction slows the base down, and for a faction with no power boosts or extra plays, this may be bad against a faction that does have them. At least the Ninja Master can take out anyone, regardless of power. That last point is particularly a problem for the Tiger Assassin, who can only target minions of power 3. This is also optional, making Tiger Assassin strictly better than the Laser Tops in both ways. If you destroy a minion of power 3, you are only netting 1 power. As an on-play ability, the Tiger Assassins tend to stay in your hand. Unfortunately, the Tiger Assassin has been replaced by Lady Whirlwind, who can do almost everything that a Tiger Assassin can do, as long as her talent can be played, which is most of the time. She can destroy minions more frequently and potentially higher than 3 power. That doesn't make the Tiger Assassin weak, but it does go down in value. The Shinobis are one of my favorite minions in the game, probably my favorite. In 2-player games, I build entire strategies around this card, and you have 3 copies. On a 4-3-2 base, go ahead, try and break it by yourself. I'll happily throw a Shinobi on that base for an easy second place. While there are counters, the strength is undeniable. There are times when a player simply cannot win because I have a Shinobi in hand, and will guarantee that they cannot break a base without me, and they either need to break 2 on the same turn or concede. You can only play 1 Shinobi per scoring base, but that is a necessary limitation. I never, ever play Shinobis as regular minions because it is a complete waste of potential. It also gives away information that there is 1 less Shinobi in play, whereas players are always wondering if I have them in hand. If I did play one, it might signal that you have a second one in hand, and then players can plan for it, which is also a waste. Shinobi's job is to either steal a base or give you an easy second place, and they do it so very well. The final minion is the Power 2, 4-copy Ninja Acolyte, and I hate this minion. If the card were made today, this would clearly be a talent. Because it is a special ability, the minion has to be played immediately because extra plays granted by special abilities are immediate. This is a terrible use of the word special, and as a consequence, the card is hurt severely. This means that multiple Ninja Acolytes cannot use their abilities on the same turn, because you would have to play a minion after you return the first, preventing the others from triggering. Worse, the ninjas actually have no good candidates for this ability. I would never waste a Shinobi with this ability. This is the type of play you make when you want to increase your power on a base to close it, and given that the other two minions destroy minions, you'd essentially have to forsake their abilities unless the math lined up perfectly. So even if I could trigger them all in the same turn, I'd have nothing to do with them other than triggering some very specific effects by replaying them. This is one of my least favorite minions in the game, and they always underwhelm me. As far as actions go, I'll start with their double features. Seeing stars is straightforward and good to use if you have a target. I often end up killing my own acolytes on VP farming bases just because I have nothing else to do with them. The other double feature is Infiltrate, a card that has been eroded significantly over the years. In my Disenchant video, I talked about how there were too few candidates for the card to merit having 2 copies, and that card can target either type of play-on action. Infiltrate can only target the play-on base actions, and it must destroy another action, even your own. You, and you alone, ignore a base for 1 turn, and it's rare that this is a good idea. I've seen this played on Rhodes Plaza Mall, which gives VP to everyone but the ninja player, and that's just sad. Infiltrate should not be a double feature. I would have given that honor to Disguise. I actually really like this action because it gives me the freedom to play my Ninja Master and Tiger Assassin to really go after someone on a base, then get them back. This is one of the ways that a ninja player can increase power on the base by replacing ninja acolytes with more powerful partner minions, and it works much cleaner than the acolyte does. I also think this better represents what the ninjas actually do, rather than infiltrate. Assassination is another form of Ninja Master, but one that does not destroy a minion before the base scores. This is okay, as most of the time it wouldn't make a difference, and the ninjas have enough destruction already that occurs in Phase 2. Poison wouldn't make for a good double feature because it would slow the game down too much. Surprisingly, there are very few actions that are negative actions played on a minion, and Poison, the first, is one of the strongest after all this time. It still holds up today, as it not only drops a minion's power by 4, but can cut through several actions at the same time. This is a great stall tactic, and it's interesting because Poison can also destroy itself if you want more control over how much power to keep on a base, where -4 is too little, but the action still needs to be destroyed. It's surprisingly flexible, and I like that. Way of Deception is the other way to mitigate the Ninja Master. If you don't intend on scoring that base, which is often the case for engine-style minions, you camp them on undesirable bases. Way of Deception can move him to a different one. There's a general trend of most core set factions having a versatile, useful card, and I think this one makes sense for the ninjas. Next we have Smoke Bomb, which is extremely useless. I rarely play this unless I have nothing else to do. When I have to discard cards, something that often happens since the ninjas have no extra plays and a lack of easy to play actions, this is one of the first to go. The only way I tend to use this is as the anti-poison, as it would get rid of any actions that were already on your minion. Finally, we have Hidden Ninja, the crown jewel of the ninja actions, the card that turns any minion into a shinobi. I love this card, and when combined with a shinobi, you can greatly swing bases. I was once winning a base by 15 power, and my opponent boasted that he could have won the base as it scored, but was choosing not to. By the way, he was telling the truth. While there are many minions that would make great fits for Hidden Ninja, the Ninja Master is a great one. You add 5 power, and they lose any number of power for some truly great swings. This is a card that you definitely want to save for the right opportunity, stealing a base on someone else's turn. You could also use it to play catch-up on your turn, but I prefer the Shinobis for that. Hidden Ninja is also the reason why I think ninjas are stronger in 4-player than 3. In 4-player, the power per player on a base tends to be much smaller, and the ninjas can easily overtake them. You can also choose what player to negate with your destruction to keep the leader points minimal. A player can go from potentially getting first place to no points at all, and that's powerful. Hidden Ninja is still relevant and feared today, and the ninjas draw most of their strength from these specials, as 2 of them alone can manipulate a base greatly. But what about the bases? If you follow this channel, you know that I'm a big fan of ninja bases. But do they help the ninjas? My official answer is somewhat. I don't think the core set had a good handle on what a faction needs from its base, and the truth is that when you play by the rules, which factions have which bases really doesn't matter because the set as a whole gets included, and for a long time, all bases were included. Still, I think sneakiness is the thematic link between the ninjas and their bases. You have to trick or force your opponent into scoring a ninja base. And if you can, playing a Shinobi for an easy second place, getting more points than the winner, is the way to go. There are other ways to ninja your way into second place on a ninja base, but I would prefer to not use those cards. This includes using disguise to downgrade your minions. I think it's important to note that, when the ninja bases were designed, there were only 7 partners for ninjas, and several of them, dinosaurs, pirates, tricksters, and aliens, all have ways of making the ninja bases break with your opponent in the lead. Remember that augmentation can target any minion and give them 4 power. I still prefer terraforming someone's Rhodes Plaza Mall into Temple of Goju, and it's just so much fun. So while the ninja bases may not look good for the ninjas today, it certainly made a lot more sense back then. So what can we conclude about the ninjas? I think they are still relevant today, but only on the strength of a few key cards. I honestly would have considered them for a Titan, because I often feel constrained by playing them if I lack those good cards. I would have loved to have seen a Titan that gives card draw benefits for losing on a base. It would give more meaning to playing your ninja acolytes since they are designed to transform into someone else. Or, when a minion is returned to your hand, you can destroy a minion of equal or less power. Basically, I want a reason to be excited about the ninja acolytes. They rarely do what they need to, and too often they are just 2 power. My favorite pairings with them are Mega Troopers, Lucadors, Sharks, Kitty Cats, Astro Knights, and Rockstars. Elves are really fun with ninjas because their combined playbook is so crazy and unorthodox, and the elves have the card draw they need. Also, don't play sheep against ninjas. Shinobi kicks off the black sheep and all your flock, and while this could be strategic, I really shouldn't have played all those cards on Rhodes Plaza Mall. So ninjas, what do you think? Let me know in the comments, and keep suggesting videos for It's Your Fault. I can't guarantee I'll get to all of them, but I'll try and get as many as possible. Thanks for watching, be sure to like and subscribe, let's shut it down.